I woke up because the snow outside my tent was crunching, slow, deliberate, and whatever was making the sound stopped moving the moment I held my breath. This happened in January of 2020, near Pagosa Springs, Colorado. I've been winter camping for years, nothing extreme, just a solo trip to clear my head. 2 nights, 1 tent, plenty of gear, or so I thought. I parked at a Forest Service turnout just before sunset. No cell signal, no other cars. The cold was clean, sharp, the kind that makes your nose sting. I hiked about half a mile in and set up camp near a frozen creek. Snow was knee-deep in places, quiet, peaceful. I melted snow on my jet boil, ate a freeze-dried chili that tasted like salt and regret. Normal stuff. The first odd thing was the silence. No wind, no animals, not even branches snapping, just my own breathing inside the tent. Around 9 p.m., I stepped out to pee. That's when I saw the footprints. They weren't mine. They came from the tree line, stopped about 10 feet from my tent, then turned around and went back. Bare boots, no tread. I told myself another camper passed through earlier. Didn't make sense, but I said it anyway. I zipped the tent, crawled into my sleeping bag. That night, I heard footsteps again. Slow, heavy. They circled the tent once, then stopped, right behind my head. I didn't move, didn't unzip, didn't breathe. After a while, the steps walked away. I didn't sleep much after that. By morning, the tracks were gone. Fresh snow had fallen overnight, covered everything. No footprints, no sign anyone had been there. The second day was colder. Clouds rolled in early, that gray, heavy winter sky. I thought about packing up and leaving. Didn't. Instead, I moved my camp closer to a cluster of trees for wind cover. That's when I found it. A glove, black, leather, half buried in the snow. Not mine. Still flexible, not frozen solid, meaning it hadn't been there long. I shouted, asked if anyone was nearby. No answer. The forest swallowed my voice. That night, the temperature dropped hard, below 0, the kind of cold that makes gear fail. My headlamp flickered. My phone battery died instantly. Around 2 a.m., something brushed the side of my tent. Not wind, a hand dragging slowly from the foot up to my shoulder. I sat up, shouted, nothing. Then came the breathing. Right outside the nylon, calm, controlled, too slow to be exertion. I reached for my knife, held it tight. The breathing stopped. Then a voice said, "You shouldn't have moved it." I asked what he meant. Silence, then footsteps retreating into the trees. I didn't wait for morning. I stuffed everything into my pack. No order, no care. I followed my GPS blindly back toward the trailhead. Snow up to my thighs, head pounding. Halfway out, my GPS glitched. Screen frozen. Coordinates reading 0.000. Then the screen flashed. Stay. I heard movement all around me. Multiple steps. Stopping whenever I turned. Starting again when I moved. I ran. Slipped. Fell hard. When I looked up, I saw them. Shapes between the trees. Standing still. Too still. Watching. I don't remember how I reached my car. I don't remember unlocking it. I just remember the heater blasting and seeing new footprints appear around my car. As the snow fell, I reported it to the ranger station later. They said no one else had permits in that area. Said winter camping attracts sounds and stress responses. They gave me back the glove I turned in. Said it was old, been found before. I don't camp in winter anymore. My name is Evan Kay. This happened in February of 2019 in northern Minnesota, near the edge of the Superior National Forest. I wasn't new to winter camping. I worked seasonal jobs. I liked the quiet. The cold made everything honest. No bugs, no crowds, just you and your gear. I parked my Subaru at a plowed logging road and hiked in about a mile. The sky was clear, stars sharp enough to cut you. I set up my tent just before dark, cooked ramen on a small MSR stove. The air smelled like pine and metal. The forest felt empty, comfortably empty. The first night was perfect. No wind, no noise, just the soft ticking of cooling gear and my breath inside the sleeping bag. I woke up once to use the bathroom, stepped outside, did my thing, went back in, didn't think anything of it. In the morning, I noticed the prints. My boots, same tread, same spacing, but there were 2 sets. One set led away from the tent, the other circled it. Wide turns, Then both sets stopped right in front of the door. I stood there a long time, told myself I'd been half asleep, that people do weird things when they're cold. The second odd thing happened that afternoon. I was melting snow when I heard a sound behind me. Not footsteps, breathing. Dry, shallow, close enough to fog the back of my neck. I spun around, nothing. Just trees, snow, still air. I actually laughed, out loud. Cold does things to your head. That's what I kept saying. That night the temperature dropped hard, -15, wind picking up. I zipped everything tight, pulled my hat low, tried to sleep. Then came the tapping. Slow, once every few seconds, on the side of the tent. I whispered, "Hello?" It stopped, then started again, lower, near the ground. I thought animal, fox maybe, or branches, until I saw the shadow. A shape blocking the starlight, not moving, not swaying, just standing there. I didn't unzip, didn't reach for my headlamp. I just watched the shadow. It stayed for a long time, too long. Eventually, it stepped away. Slow footsteps, deliberate. I didn't sleep after that. Morning dawned, I opened the tent. The snow was untouched. No tracks, nothing where the shadow had been, except my water bottle. I'd left it inside the vestibule. Now it was 10 feet away, standing upright. I hadn't moved it. It wasn't frozen into the snow either, just placed there, carefully. I packed up early, hands shaking, movements sloppy. As I rolled my sleeping pad, I noticed something underneath, a handprint pressed into the frost skin, too large to be mine. That's when I heard it again, from deeper in the woods. My voice, calling my name, Evan. Same tone I use when I'm annoyed. Flat, familiar. I grabbed my pack and started walking. Didn't run. Running gets you hurt. The voice followed, always just far enough away, never closer, never farther. Evan, over and over. I reached the logging road at dusk. My car was there, but the driver's door was open. Inside, the heater was running. My phone was on the seat, screen lit up, a text message open. Drafted, not sent. It just said, "Don't go back to sleep." I don't remember driving home. I reported it a week later. They said exposure can cause hallucinations, said no one else had been reported missing. But sometimes in winter, I wake up in my apartment and see wet footprints on the floor, leading from my bed to the door and stopping there like something left. My name is Lucas M. This happened in January of 2020 near Red Lodge, Montana, just outside the Beartooth Mountains. I went winter camping to clear my head. No service, no people, just snow and time. I parked at a trail pull-off and snowshoed in about 2 miles. The sun was already dropping. Everything was blue and quiet. I set up my 4-season tent in a small clearing. No animal tracks nearby. Dinner was a mountain house meal and instant coffee. The steam fogged my headlamp. It felt peaceful, safe. I'd done this before. Winter camping forces you to slow down. Every sound means something. The first odd thing happened before I even went to sleep. My GPS said I was moving, just barely, back and forth. I checked the satellite lock. Strong signal, clear sky. I wasn't moving. I told myself electronics glitch in the cold. Turned it off. I zipped into my sleeping bag and let the silence take over. At some point, I drifted off. I woke up to footsteps. Not crunching, sliding, like boots being dragged across packed snow. They circled the tent once, then stopped. I held my breath, waited. Nothing. I checked my watch, 1:54 a.m. The footsteps didn't come back. Eventually, I fell asleep again. That's when the radio turned on. I froze. I hadn't packed a radio. Static filled the tent, then a calm, automated voice. "This is a localized weather alert." I listened. "There is an unidentified individual within your immediate area. Shelter in place." My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I slowly reached for my headlamp and turned it on. The radio sat between my boots, an old, yellow emergency radio, snow melting off it. I had not brought that. The voice continued. "Do not exit your shelter. Do not respond to voices." That's when I heard my name. Outside the tent, quiet, close. Lucas. It sounded like my brother. Same cadence, same pause between syllables, but my brother was 3 states away. I didn't answer. The voice tried again, closer this time. "Lucas, it's cold. Open it." The fabric of the tent pressed inward like a hand, just enough to leave a shape. The radio crackled again. Do not open the shelter. Then footsteps moved away, sliding, dragging, around the tent, over and over. I don't know how long it lasted. Minutes, hours. Eventually, everything stopped. No footsteps, no voice. The radio clicked off. When daylight came, I packed up without eating. Hands numb, movements sloppy. Outside, the snow told a story I didn't want to understand. There were tracks, boot prints, leading from the trees, circling my tent, stopping inches from the door. But there was something wrong. They weren't facing the tent. They were facing outward, like whoever made them had been standing there, listening. I followed them with my eyes. They led back into the trees and just ended. No drag marks, no turn, just gone. I reported it later. They said it was stress, cold exposure, sleep confusion, tired. But here's the part I never tell anyone. That radio, I brought it home by accident. Didn't realize until I unpacked. It still works. Sometimes late at night, it turns itself on and plays static.